We're all here and we all need to live together. A genocide is a crime against humanity that should be condemned by international communities.
Because I'm not very sure of my English. Ce que je pense, c'est que le génocide, c'est vraiment une vilaine affaire. C'est quand deux peuples se battent ou bien se tuent juste par différences ethniques, différences de culture, ce qui n'est pas, je pense, normal en Afrique. On est tous des Africains, qu'on soit noirs, blancs, serrés, wolof ou bambara, on est tous pareils, on est tous africains. Donc c'est vraiment malheureux qu'on soit dans un même continent et qu'on se tue juste parce qu'on est ceci ou cela.
Well, I think that genocide is a general misunderstanding of the living conditions. People are living together and they have scarce resources to live on. In Africa, before colonization, people were living together. Arabs, blacks, all kind of Songais, because of land issues, because of cattle issues, because of rivers and other stuff. The same thing is going on. But right now, what is going on in Africa is different after colonization. What is going on now is the colonial hand that is pushing people into wars because they want to come and take the rest of the land. And local people are now living and they're considered poor people. Now, if they are poor, they should be given, some kind of help to let them live together. But instead of doing that, powerful countries are coming and pushing communities against each other so that they can come and retract or exploit all the resources from the land without any central government, without any peace. Anytime there is a peace, it is very difficult to have contracts, it is very difficult to control over the resources. So if there is no peace, then they can come and exploit and nobody can have a full hand of control on the resources. And I think that's one of the issues that Africa is facing today.
Je pense que ce que Bouba a dit est très vrai, parce qu'il y a forcément des puissances étrangères qui sont derrière tous ces gens-là, parce qu'ils n'ont ni l'argent, ils n'ont pas les ressources pour pouvoir se procurer des armes pour faire la guerre et tout le reste. Ça suppose qu'il y a toujours quelqu'un derrière qui finance ces activités-là. Mais je pense que au-delà de tout ça aussi, c'est parce que tout simplement les Africains aussi ne s'entendent pas. Ils ne sont pas d'accord sur plusieurs choses. Ils sont toujours en train de rivaliser sur n'importe quoi et n'importe comment, sans grand fondement. Je pense que ça, c'est vraiment quelque chose de primordial. C'est qu'on ne peut rien construire sans l'unité. Si on arrivait à se souder mutuellement l'un avec l'autre, ça aurait été le premier pas. Parce que quelqu'un qui vient de, je ne sais pas où, pour vous proposer de faire la guerre parce que lui, par derrière, il a besoin de vos ressources. Si on était plus soudés, si on était plus unis, cela ne serait pas arrivé. Ça, c'est
what she basically said was that one of the problems is that African people are not united. And if we could get united, we could palliate to some of these problems. Because if you see external powers coming to Africa and pushing people back to back into wars, it's because African people did not understand themselves that their peace depends on themselves and that they should, unite instead of dividing, instead of focusing on small differences.
I think it's not a unique thing that happened in Darfur. In 1940 we had another genocide that happened, but I think like what even the sister has contributed is that there are some conditions or prerequisites that have been created in Africa for this sort of thing. First of all, the colonial borders that have been created have been created in such a way that bring about conflict. You find that people have been divided into two different countries. You know, people who were one at one time, and now there is a border that is going in between of them. And more than that is that you find people of the same community have been given two different identities and two different language. So you find, if you go to places like Togo or Cameroon, you find a tribe, one tribe is in this country and the other tribe is in the other country, and one speaks French and one speaks English. So you have those sort of things. And some of the other things that you have talked about, you know, it is not a problem of tribalism, but it's a problem of tribalism meeting international politics, meeting economics, you know. So you find, like, even in Darfur, we have huge economic interest in terms of oil that are invested there.
One of the problems is the colonial legacy, but the other problem is also crazy governments. My perspective will go from that point of view. The government of Sudan is a terrorizing government. It's because the government has been allowed to do all this genocide without international intervention. And the reason is because there was no true democracy to begin with when this government came into power. And after this government came into power, they've been doing some things that are not in line with democracy. But let's let all that alone. Just giving weapon to part of or a portion of your own population and sending them, naming them Janjaweed or whatever, and then calling them Arab tribes and sending them to kill other people based on their ethnicity, it is something that is unacceptable. I think some of the solutions, as I mentioned earlier, are to sanction the Sudanese government. And the reason for that is because they have given weapon to part of the population to go after another part of the population. And that itself is an act of crime, and that should be punished. Beyond that, one other thing that must be done is we should unite Africa urgently, because none of our governments are capable of doing what it needs to do to bring peace